To say the universe is deterministic is not to say it is hopeless. And yet, that's often the assumption. People hear determinism and think, if everything is already predetermined, then my choices are inevitable. So it doesn't really matter what I do, since nothing I do matters. This confusion is so common, it even has its own name: fatalism. Fatalism is the belief that all future outcomes are already locked in, and, as a consequence, nothing you do can make any difference. Fatalism is the voice that says, "Why try? The ending is already written." It encourages resignation. It implies that you are sealed in, that all roads lead to the same place, regardless of which path you take. That struggle is futile. It tempts you to give up. This is existential surrender, not profound insight. And all along, determinism has been singing a different song, one far subtler and more empowering too. Determinism sings instead a song of destiny, of a path you could walk, of a person you could become. It says that what happens does depend on what came before, but you are part of what came before. Your choices, your character, your efforts, these are causes. They ripple outward and shape the future. The fact that the world is lawful doesn't mean it's indifferent to your actions. It simply means your actions have consequences, and the kind of consequences they have, well, that's a function of how clearly you can see and how sincerely you respond. So yes, your situation was given. You didn't choose your body, your parents, or your culture. But what you do with those givens, that's not meaningless. To the contrary, that is where your influence lives. This is why, ironically, fatalism misunderstands the very thing it tries to answer. Because if determinism is true, then your decisions do have meaning, but not because they escape causality, rather because they participate in it. Your choices stand among the causes. What you do now changes what happens next. The quality of your attention, your intention, and your effort. These are not outside the system. They are pieces of it. You are not a spectator to your life. You are a node of influence within it. In this sense, determinism isn't the end of freedom. It's the beginning of a more mature idea of what freedom entails, because it tells us that freedom doesn't mean doing just anything, any time, for any reason, or even for no reason at all. It means knowing the difference between what you can change and what you can't. Within that space, limited, yes, but real, you get to act. Not outside the causal web, but as a strand within it. A puppet that pulls back. Maybe you do have a destiny, not in the sense of a predetermined future, but as a kind of deep pattern that your life tends toward. A personal gravity pulling you towards a certain kind of wholeness. This is what Paulo Coelho would have called your personal legend, a path your soul would walk if not interrupted by fear, fatigue, or distraction. But you are not fated to fulfill it. You are not guaranteed anything. You can ignore the call, if you wish. You can resist it, bury it, forget it. You can live a life that is technically determined, but spiritually stagnant. This is what fatalism gets wrong. Not just that it overstates the power of external forces, but that it understates the power of responsibility in place of reactivity, insight rather than instinct. We are not fated to become who we are meant to be. Rather, we stand charged with the duty to become that person, or suffer the consequences. A person only becomes fated when they decide that they are finished becoming. Determinism does not seal your fate. Your refusal to participate in your own transformation does. That is the moment the door closes. Not because the world sealed it, but because you did. So, if there's one truth that determinism makes clear, it's that how you live still matters. Because the shape of tomorrow is determined in part by how you show up today. That may not be total freedom, but it is enough to change a life. And perhaps it is even enough to change the world.